Hello, my name is Armando Perez-Carreno, and today we're talking with Alex Standiford from Siren Affiliates. How are you, Alex?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm very honored that you had the opportunity to come on the video today. I've just I'm loving what I see with Siren and what it means for people who maybe have collaborators in their work and might want to share royalties, things like that. So I want to get into that into the
Heck
call, but
yeah.
I think that it's such a great tool. And even if someone doesn't use Siren, just to know that these are things that you can do within a business to help your business grow, I think is fantastic. And to help others grow as well, especially in the learning space and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
again, thank you for joining me. I want to start off just by having people know a little bit more about you. Many people already know a lot about you, but how did you get into the whole affiliate space in the first place?
Yeah. So, whenever I first started my career as a web developer and actually as a WordPress user in like 2009, 2010, I was actually running my first business where I was partnering with photographers and I was looking for ways to be able to create partnerships even back then. And of course, it wasn't, the market was nowhere near ready then, or the
Mhm.
plugin, the tech wasn't there. So a lot of it was still manual using spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff. Um, but fast forward several years later, I um, became a web developer, got really into WordPress, started building tons and tons of WordPress plugins, and ended up catching the eye of uh, Sandhills Development, and I spent a little time working on some of their products, including Affiliate WP and a little bit with EDD and a couple of the different things. Um, and that was kind of where a fair bit of my context for affiliate plugins and things like that came from. But prior to that, I was actually using Affiliate WP uh, myself on my own site, and even at the time, I was a little frustrated because I wasn't able to. I wanted to run this specific program where I had content creators who I had these people who wanted to write blog content about WordPress, but they didn't really have a great platform to write on. So what I wanted to do was offer them a way to earn a commission on my site by writing blog content on my site. So instead of, and
Mhm.
basically treat it like if somebody reads their blog post, I would treat them as if they referred that visitor with an affiliate link.
Oh,
So yeah, so it was kind of this way it was an SEO play for me, right? I was able to get SEO optimized content. They were able to write content that was able to organically drive traffic without and also be able to use, my backlinks on my site and my platform and all that stuff. So they didn't
mhm.
necessarily have to like commit fully to creating like a blog, but they could still
Right.
earn those referrals and get all of those extra benefits that came with it. Um, that was not something that uh, I could do with any affiliate plugin on the market at the time, and I actually had to customize my plugin, or not mine, but I had to customize affiliate WP quite a bit to make it happen. There was like a lot of crazy stuff that they definitely wouldn't support. You know what I mean? And the only
Mhm.
reason why I even had a clue on what I was doing was just because I had literally been a developer on that product, so I understood it in and out, and I knew how to do those things. Um, so that all of that context kind of happened, and then fast forward to last year, I realized I wanted to build a product, and long since have been moved on from Sandhills because they got sold, and so I was talking with Chris at Lifter LMS about like some different product ideas. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and he and I started talking about it, and he made mention of the fact that he wished that there was a better solution for affiliate, a better affiliate solution for his customers, for his course customers, and that was just when it happened. I realized that like I had this problem, he had this problem. We're saying it in different ways. We're coming from different contexts, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like these affiliate programs need these affiliate people in WordPress need a better affiliate solution than what they have now. They're wanting to do all these different programs that fall outside of that norm. And I knew I was like, I'm the guy to build this. I know how to build this. I have the WordPress background. I have the affiliate background. I have the customer, like the usage background. I have the network with the different plugin companies that I can work with to figure out how to do this. And like, I was like, this is me. I'm the guy. I'm going to do this. And so I did.
Well, it turned out great. At least the part that I have played with and some of our clients have worked with. I find it different from affiliate WP, which some of my clients have affiliate WP and are starting to test Siren on their staging sites at the same time. They're like, okay, so what can we do that we can't do? And I think something that comes up often is split carts.
Yeah.
So if you're doing WooCommerce, for anyone who's doing WooCommerce, if you're trying to do an affiliate program before, the problem is that I can say, okay, sure, you're an affiliate. You're going to get 30% commission, 20%, 10%, whatever, based on however we tracked you.
Yep.
But the problem is I don't want you to get a commission for the whole cart because it's not that you're referring traffic, which in some cases that's what you want. But in some cases, maybe this is an instructor for the course and it's the instructor author or whoever recorded the course. And so you want to give them for those $30, $100 or whatever that the product costs in the cart, I want to give them their royalty payment.
Totally.
And doing that with other tools, it's impossible because they just focus on the whole cart. So how did you do that in Siren? What's the difference? How do we think about collaborators in Siren?
So there's so many different ways that this is handled. So first off, one of the big changes that Siren has against other platforms is it has what I call a multi-program approach to affiliate management. So instead of having a single monolithic giant program that has all these custom settings buried in it and like different products have different like rates and different affiliates have different rates and all that stuff, none of that happens. How it works is you just create another program. So one program could say this program pays people whenever pays affiliates 10% whenever this specific product is sold, right? You can get that specific. And then if you need to create another program, you can. So if you wanted to create two different programs, maybe you have two different rates for products, you would just create two programs and then only say these programs apply to these products and set different rates for them and all the different settings there. If you wanted to, on the other end of that, like say you wanted to create, maybe you have some affiliates who have a different rate than other affiliates. This is very common, right? So other plugins, what they'll do is again, monolithic program. So you have to go into the affiliate screen and give that affiliate a special rate. And that's a pain in the butt to me because then you have to like dig in and figure out who's got what rate and what are they at. And, you know, they've kind of made it a little bit better with groups so that you can set a group rate and things like that, but it's still awkward. So I centralized all of that in the programs screen. So affiliates don't have rates or, you know, collaborators don't have rates. Instead, a program has a rate. So you set a rate for a program and then you add collaborators to that program instead. So if I have an affiliate who I want to give a 10% rate and I have another one who I want to give a 20% rate, I'm just going to create two programs, one for the 10% and one for the 20, and add those collaborators to those actual programs, right? So it allows you to centralize all that. It makes it a lot easier to manage. And then on top of that, it also allows you to do some really cool, complicated, potentially complicated, like, you know, I guess I should say powerful, right? Like there's a lot of depth there because you could create, for example, on Siren's site, I have two programs that are running. One where I pay the first visitor, the first person to refer a site, and then I pay also for the last person. So if you're a podcaster and you referred somebody really early in the sales cycle to Siren's site with your affiliate link, and then somebody else referred it to actually get them to convert months later, or like a month or so later, I would still pay both of them, right? Because I have two programs. One program would pay the first person a smaller amount, and then the other one would pay the last person a bigger amount. And then and then there's also cases where it could be the same person, right? But it's just, so there's a lot of like different ways you can create programs, customize programs, and tailor them to your needs. And it all happens in that one screen.
Oh, that's great. I think a lot of interest was spun recently with the Lifter integration, right?
Sure.
Because courses are a big one. Online courses, they're fantastic. They're a great way for people to share knowledge and also make money, right? But mostly help people. And in that space, of course, you can have affiliate, but like we were talking about earlier, you a lot of the times you just want to give people royalties for whatever content they created, like you were saying for the blog posts.
Yeah,
and so in this space, I see that you can have someone own a product, right? So that collaborator owns the product. And what does that mean in the sense of a program? Does that mean they automatically get access to whatever that program does?
Yeah. So there's a special kind of way. In Siren, you can create like you said, a royalty program. And basically what that would do is it will pay the collaborator for a royalty for products that are sold that they own, right? And you can associate different products with that collaborator by basically giving them ownership. And what that means depends on the platform, or depends on the plugin. For example, in the context of Lifter, you would associate that product with them by saying they are the course instructor, right? So they own that product now. They own that course. And then because of Lifter's capabilities, you would just set that user to an instructor, and then you can actually customize, then that instructor can customize and modify their course as they see fit. And then anytime that product gets sold, they would be commissioned, they would receive that royalty. They would receive a notice that, hey, your product just got sold. We're paying you that 50%, 25%, 60%, whatever percentage, has been agreed on. But what's really cool is, like, again, since it's a multi-program approach, you can do a royalty program for your instructors, but then on top of that, you could also do a royalty affiliate program. So this actually allows you to perfectly emulate what like big platforms like Udemy do, where you can say, yeah, I'll pay you a 50% royalty, right? I'll pay you 50% royalty for every course that's sold that you own all the time forever. But I'll tell you what, if you sell the product yourself, if you're the one who actually does the sale and it's your product, I will pay you an additional 40% on top of that 50%. So now I'm paying you 90% of the value of that commission. I'm going to keep 10% just as a fee to maintain the site and all that stuff. So it incentivizes them to not only earn from the royalty, but it also incentivizes them to actually generate sales and generate leads and be a more active member in that way. So you're able to pay them for performance. That's not required, right? You don't have to have both of those, but if you wanted to take it to the next step, it's easy enough to do. It's just adding another program. And then, so that's the Lifter use case of like a product owner, but there's also other ones. Like, what about something like Etsy? So imagine you have a scenario where you wanted to create, like an Etsy clone, where you have a whole bunch of people who are creating their own parts. Maybe they're making some like 3D printed things or something like that, and they're selling them on the site. You can make it to where you can associate those products with them, give them ownership of those products. And then whenever they sell, you let them know, hey, this product sold, we're going to pay you 90% or whatever, it does. And it works exactly the same way. So Siren would handle keeping track of who gets owed what with that. There's obviously other plugins and other things that might need to get involved in the mix for some notifications and stuff, depending on the context. But, yeah, so that's really what it's all about. And that's, where there's been a lot of interest and excitement this week, because, the Lifter LMS integration kind of brought in a lot of those additional features that I didn't have ready at launch that I wanted to get ready shortly afterward. And I had to have them for Lifter because it was the entire use case.
Right. But I mean, but for anyone who's listening that do not, like, I personally do not use Lifter, or haven't yet. We use LearnDash a lot. And if you're using LearnDash, or if you built your own version of an LMS, this still works because you have WooCommerce, if you use WooCommerce. So if you have the WooCommerce integration from LearnDash, at the end of the day, you're setting a collaborator for the product.
Yeah.
And so you have a course product, somebody buys that product on WooCommerce, it's linked to the course, they get immediate access, all that's handled already by LearnDash, but you can handle the royalty generation with Siren just as it is now because of these new changes that also apply to WooCommerce, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I made a point to do the WooCommerce at launch, because there's just so many plugins that integrate with it. So, while people are waiting for those integrations to come along, I at least have an answer to that question, right? So Lifter was the first one, mostly because Chris was there. He was with me. He helped me. We worked together on He gave me a lot of advice. He's been so helpful.
Mhm.
So I've always used Lifter as well prior to. So nothing against LearnDash or anything like that. Like I just happened
I've
to use
heard
Lifter.
I've heard great things about Lifter. Like recently, because of you, I dug into it a little more,
Yeah.
and it's such a like a whole everything in one
Yeah,
kind of platform.
for sure.
So I think for many use cases, it's an ideal tool. But again, I haven't tried it yet.
Mhm.
Hopefully, in the next few weeks, I'll give it a go.
Look around a little bit.
Also, yeah. So one quick question: if you are doing like a WooCommerce or a Lifter or whatever integration for royalties,
Mhm.
if someone they were buying in the cart, but you had a Black Friday deal,
Mhm.
30% off or 40% off, does Siren handle a way for people not to get the whole royalty for the original cost, but rather the discounted cost? Or how does that work? 'Cause I know a lot of people have that question.
Yeah, that would be a problem, right? Imagine I'd take 90% off and I'm giving you 50% of the commission. Oh no, I'm losing money. No.
Yeah.
So the way Siren handles that is there's this option inside of whenever you're creating a program where you can specify what parts of a transaction should be included in the calculations. In fact, that's actually how you're able to ensure that the different products aren't included, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So what it does is you can say, don't include taxes, don't include, shipping,
Mm-hmm.
include discounts and include fees and include all line items, right? And that's a basic example, right? So those three
Mm-hmm.
things, you'd include line items, fees, and discounts. And by including discounts, you're actually saying, calculate all of this and also calculate the discount along with that, which would then subtract that total. So if you had like a 90% off or something like that, it's going to only calculate, they're only going to get commission on whatever the 10% value is that the person actually paid out of pocket. But it's there for you to be able to disable that if for some reason you want to do that. I can't think of a use case for it, but it was easy enough to add it. And I was like, it's here. I'll just do it. It's fine.
I'm sure there's some scenarios where they always get the full, especially if, let's say, the creator or the instructor or whoever their collaborator is bigger than the company. They might always get a license fee for it, no matter what price it's sold at.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I guess that. So one last question here regarding like specific to Siren. I know you have to go in a few minutes.
It's okay. Take your time.
The payouts. It's a big thing. Yeah. How is that handled? How do I know who I need to give money? And can I mark that I already paid them? How do I pay them? How does that work?
Yeah. So you there's a two-step process to payouts. So the first step, whenever somebody whenever an affiliate or a collaborator, whatever, earns their commission, earns their reward is what I call it, because it's a generic term, right? A reward. Mm-hmm. So it could be an affiliate commission, it could be a royalty, it could be both, right? It could be a combination of those, it could be anything. Whenever they earn their reward, in Siren, something called an obligation is created. And for every reward, there's a single obligation all the way down. And actually I'm going through this right now because I have several obligations for Lifter that were created because they were using an affiliate link whenever they launched this. So they've generated several sales. So what I need to do then is basically whenever the time comes to make that payout, right? In my case, I'm waiting until the 30-day return window is done before I actually make these payouts, so that if anybody returns it, I can cancel those obligations before I actually make the payment. Other plugins, how they work is that's it. You would see this obligation screen and they would just, there's like a button to like generate a report, and it just dumps it into a spreadsheet and it tallies up the totals and it gives it to you as a spreadsheet, and then it marks them as sold, and that's it. I felt that was like, as a starting point, the spreadsheet part is okay, right? We can work with that. That can be imported into PayPal, Stripe, done manually through whatever system, whatever. There's so many different ways. That's okay. The problem was if I had problems paying an affiliate for some reason, maybe their account was wrong or whatever, there's no way to track that in the system. Once it's, you know what I mean? As soon as those payouts are dumped out in that spreadsheet, There's no
done.
tracking. It's done. And you have to now manually track it for the rest of that. And I did not want that for Siren. I wanted something better. So what I did was, instead of it just dumping it into a spreadsheet directly, it actually creates a payout, a single payout record that has, I'm sorry, it's it's not a payout. It's called a, oh no, it's gone. My brain.
Oh, that's fine.
Anyway, so
it's an entity.
It's an entity.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
So
fine.
it creates this thing that has a whole bunch of payouts, and you're able to look at that, and it'll be a single record. So it'll be like, we did a payout on this day, and then if you click on it, it shows you all of the individual like tallied up amounts, like what would actually be in the spreadsheet, and it assigns a status to them. It says they're paid, unpaid, whatever. So then from there, so it's separate from obligations. It's a separate screen, right? From there, you can say, all right, I'm ready. Go ahead, and I'm going to pick the ones I'm ready to pay now, and I'm going to export them as a spreadsheet. Or I can say, I already paid this one, mark it as paid, mark it as paid. So it gives you kind of a checklist. Okay. Yes, it gives you a checklist of every affiliate, or every collaborator rather, and how much you owe them for that specific payout, and if it's paid or not. That way you can keep track in Siren of the status of your different payouts without needing to like manually do it or anything like that.
Oh, that's perfect.
And then you can still just tick a box and hit the button to download it as a spreadsheet, as an Excel sheet or whatever. And it'll also automatically mark them all as paid whenever it does that, if you want it to. So, you still get the simplicity of it for the general cases where it goes well. But, if something goes wrong, you can come back to your dashboard and you can mark it as unpaid, just so that you have it recorded. I still owe them, right? And then they see that on the front end. I still owe this I still owe you this, right? So it kind of helps with the accountability aspect of the actual paying part of this, which I think is arguably the most important step, right? You want more transparency there than at any other step in the process. Not that you don't want it everywhere, but you really want to make sure, because your collaborators, come payday, if something goes wrong, they're going to immediately want to see, hey, what's going on here? You owe me this payment. I see it, right? There's transparency. And I think that's really important. So I wanted to make sure to build that in as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. Speaking of, and if it's not there, it's fine, because I know it's a work in progress. But what about that front end part? Is there a way for collaborators to see what they're owed and where they're at?
Yeah. So the way it works right now is it's actually built directly into the WordPress dashboard. So if a collaborator has an account, they're able to see all of their data directly in there. So there's coupon codes that they can see. They can see their affiliate link. They can see their rewards and all of the data that the basic data that goes into the affiliate dashboard. Basically, the WordPress dashboard becomes the affiliate dashboard. That's what it is now. It's definitely a 1.0. Like, it's definitely the first version of this. There's a lot I want to do to improve that, including
blocks coming soon.
Yes, blocks coming soon. TLDR. The intent is to I wanted to start there because, one, it's easy. It was easier for me to do that, of course. But two, integrations like Lifter or WooCommerce, where somebody owns the product and they have to actually manage content on the site as well, are absolutely going to want that in the WordPress dashboard, because they're going to be able to access it anyway. So I wanted to start there, and then over time, determine, probably I'm going to end up creating blocks is what's going to end up happening. I'm going to end up creating a dashboard block, probably some other logic block that's like, if the collaborators logged in, only show this content, and just different things like that, so that people can customize this to their heart's content. Because I know not everybody wants people to even know that their site's on WordPress. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of people like that.
Yeah. So that's coming. It's coming someday. It's just, there's so much
awesome stuff. It's just good to know what to anticipate.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Alex, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me and just talking about this whole process, because using Siren or not using Siren is just a great thing to know about in the WordPress space. So do you, before we close out, have any suggestions for anyone that is planning on maybe running an affiliate program or a royalty program or anything like that?
Yeah, I have a lot. So if they should definitely check out, I have a podcast that I'm running where I'm talking a lot about this stuff, right? I'm talking about how to run an affiliate program, how to find more affiliates, how to, motivate the affiliates you have to generate more sales, all kinds of different programs, and tips and advice, and just entire business models that this tool can use. Because it's a very novel, the entirety of this is, there's a lot of novelty here, right? There's a lot of concepts and a lot of ideas that haven't really existed in the WordPress space. I've actually been saying, prior to this week, there's entire business models that couldn't be done in WordPress without code that can be now, right? Like Siren has literally opened up entire business models, right? So I have a lot to talk about, right? In terms of inspiration, ideas on how this plugin can be used, ways to be able to use it more effectively. And in order to do that, I decided the best thing I could do was start a podcast. So I'm doing a lot of short 15 to 20 minute talks where I just it's just a talking head. I'm talking to you about a specific topic. I'm offering references, research, and all the stuff that I have to be able to provide to people, and things that I'm just finding in my own discoveries as I'm building my own affiliate program at the same time. But then on top of that, I'm actually doing a lot of interviews with some really, really talented and knowledgeable affiliate managers in the space, and in not only just WordPress space, but just in general. Some of the interviews I've done have been like, I've actually been, I'm asking them questions because I want to know more stuff from my own program.
Of course.
And I'm like scribbling down notes like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. I need to do this. I need to do that. So there is a lot of really good content there now. And there's going to be a whole lot of really great stuff there too. And that's at partnership.fm.
Partnership.fm.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And where can people find you on social or website? Where's the best place to reach you?
Yeah. So alexstandiford.com. Everything I publish ever goes through there first. So I'll copy it and I'll share it on Twitter and I'll share it on Mastodon and all my other platforms as well. But if you're looking for the canonical source for me, it's my own website. And I'm also very active on X. I'm very active on Mastodon. You can pretty much find me in most of the Slack channels. My handle pretty much everywhere is Alex Standiford, all one word.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. I'll let you go now. I know you have another call, but thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah.
And I hope to speak to you soon.
All right, Armando. Thanks so much, man. I'm so excited. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.